All right, and welcome to another episode of Perspective in Pokemon, where sometimes we talk about perspective, sometimes we talk about Pokemon, and today's gonna be more of a perspective kind of day. I'm here with Zach Brandt, and actually, real quick before I actually get into Zach, I do need to clarify because I just realized you can see like a wig behind me. I am recording this from my sister's house, and so this is my niece's room. As awesome as that wig is, that's not mine. Just need to clarify that.
Okay. Hey, any way you can get a recording done.
But anyway, so I'm here with Zach, and Zach I actually met through Twitter. Actually, kind of funny. Funny I saying that because I feel like most of the people I'm bringing onto the show I've met through Twitter. But
I've met
Zach,
so many people
I'm
from
gonna let
Twitter.
him introduce himself. Yeah, I'm going to let him introduce himself. But Zach has just been honestly someone who I've been very impressed with as I've observed some things he's been doing. But Zach, man, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, awesome. First of all, thank you for having me on the show. I'm completely grateful for doing this and coming on shows. For those that don't know who I am, I'm Zach, like you said, last name Brandt. I'm 20 years old. I sell on Amazon full time, and I am investing and playing with Legos and sports cards as well on the side. So that's the quick breakdown.
And I think what's the most impressive part of what you just said is that you're 20. Like,
See, yeah, a lot of people look at age, and I've always looked at it as just a number. And I don't know. I give all the credit to God for everything I do. It's not me that's doing anything special. Some of my friends are in college doing great things. Some didn't go to college, like me, and are doing great things. But I really just think I look at age, and I truly see it just as a number. So
100%. Like, I 100% agree with that. I think more why that impresses me, though, is that not a lot of 20-year-olds, are like in the mindset of trying to build something, which, you do you. Yeah, I'm not trying to judge, but it's just,
no, no, I 100% agree with you.
you don't see people,
No,
20, trying to like, build a business, which is what you're doing.
yeah, for me, it's just something I love to do. It's not even about the money. It's been a great financial year for my business and going full time on it. But it's just something I've always loved since I was a kid. 8, 10 years old, I was trading sports cards, selling on my dad's eBay account. But like you said, definitely not the average 20-year-old who's trying to start a business. Most people my age are either getting drunk or going to college or doing both at the same time. But that was not the role for me. So.
For sure. So you said you started like selling cards and whatnot, like when you were 8 or 9. Is that what you said?
Yeah, actually, the first item I ever sold, I think I was 9 or 10 years old. It was a Lego Jabba the Hutt Star Wars minifigure. I was trying to raise money to get some Lord of the Rings books. I'm a complete nerd. And my parents wouldn't give me any handouts. So my dad said I could use his eBay account to sell a toy I had. I think I sold it for like $55, and I was just hooked ever since then. I'm like, someone's going to give me $55 for my old plastic I don't use anymore. This is pretty fun. So
That's sweet. So after you sold that like Jabba the Hutt, did you like keep selling stuff, or how did you like go from being a 9-year-old selling your first toy to now, being full-time?
yeah, so that was like really the opening thing. I was just started selling everything I didn't use. Through then, and then in middle school I was doing eBay more than school itself, and I was doing like 20, $30,000 a year, gross, not profit, but it was really fun. Me and my friend would go to Goodwill, buy old T-shirts, and sell it for more money. And I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. And I never really thought I could do it full time, to be honest with you, 100%, until the past few years when I stumbled across Amazon. And then last year I started selling on Amazon. Just blew my mind away.
That's sweet. So before Amazon, were you selling primarily just on eBay?
Yeah, before Amazon, before last year, it was all 100% eBay and a little bit Mercari, the selling app. I used as well, but mainly for sports cards on Mercari because I realized you can get more money on Mercari for sports cards than you can on eBay for some. So I was actually buying cards right off eBay and then selling them for more on Mercari. So
That's awesome. So actually, I do need to go back to something you said. So you said you were like in middle school,
correct.
doing like 20, 30,000. I mean, gross, but
Yeah.
still
Yeah,
that.
it was. Um, I was not the best student in middle school that I went to. That was the only few years I was public school. I was homeschooled the rest of my life and did online school. But we all had MacBook Airs. And so I would be either looking at the stock market, looking at sports cards, or on my eBay account, just looking at stuff, studying the market, studying the market, looking for stuff I can sell. And I'm like, I think I sold a old um, rock band. I think it was maybe ACDC or a tour T-shirt for like 140 bucks. I paid $1 for. And I was like, man, this is crazy. So I would have my mom or my friend's mom drop me and my buddy off at Goodwill for a few hours, and almost every day I did that. So
I mean that. I'm curious. Like, were you? Because as a middle schooler, like even like again, even like gross profit, that's something. That's more than like everyone else is making in middle school.
yeah,
So
no,
I'm curious. Were you thinking like going around thinking you were like a baller? Like like what was going through your mind
honestly,
as a middle?
not really. I know you follow Gary Vaynerchuk a lot, and I was watching a bunch of his videos, and like he does, his trash talk where he goes to garage sales and stuff like that. And I just do it because I liked it. I was like, hey, this is cool, and then I'll just use that money, buy more inventory. I would say when I was 16, I got a job working at a nursing home. I was a tutor, did that for about 8 months. 17, 18, did construction. Started my own paint business when I was 18. Did that for about a year, well, doing eBay on the side still. And then last year, around this time, I stumbled across Amazon, um, started selling a few things, and then it just completely took off, I would say February, March. And I just decided to go full time on it and stop the paint business. So
Awesome, man, dude. That is really cool. So you're just full on like entrepreneur. Like that's just always been kind of on your mind what you love to do.
yeah, my sister wasn't for her, my brother not for him, my dad and mom who both, have great jobs, went to college, wasn't for them. So it's something I don't even know. I just loved. I guess I go back to I loved trading cards as a kid. I'd have the Beckett magazine and look up like the prices and trade with my friends and try to barter my way up to the best card and then sell it. So it's something that I've always just enjoyed. Numbers fascinated me, not even the whole money thing, because I'm not a big materialistic guy. If people want the big houses and big car, I just like business, the whole thing. I can buy for 99 cents and sell for 20 bucks. I can go into Walmart. I can go online, place a wholesale order now, and it just amazes me, and it's a lot of fun to me. So
I love that, man. Yeah, because so I've been around business for a little while, like did various businesses, and what I found is that some people they get into business for the money, which is again you do you, but
yeah,
what I love about everything you're saying is just how much you love it because there's just such a big difference when you're doing it because you just love it versus
I
you're doing
noticed.
it because you want to like get the Lamborghini.
Yeah, and the thing is, of course, a business that at the end of the day, I always tell people I have to be making a profit. It's the number one goal of the business is to bring in money. But I've learned when I don't focus on the money and just working hard and doing what I love is usually when I make the most money. When I've started to in the past, I'm trying to figure ways to, only worry about the money because you're always looking to expand your business. But when I was so focused and looking at my sales every hour, trying to see it, I want to make the money, then trust, have fun, and then just work almost every single day. So
Great. Could you repeat the last thing you just said? You kind of cut out.
yeah, I've learned the biggest thing for me is one, just to trust God, and then two, just do what I love, and that's business and helping other people. And I've gotten friends that sell on eBay now, and I've some friends that started selling on Amazon, and I've met a ton of cool people, yourself, and a bunch of other people through Twitter and social media platforms because I started sharing what I do. And I didn't even think that many people would care. I think I started Twitter when I was 18 or 19. I didn't think many people, liked the whole flip life thing. I started just posting it, and then my account kept growing. I was like, hey, I'll keep doing this. This is pretty cool. So,
It's awesome. So I guess on that note then, so if someone is trying to get into, reselling, getting into selling on Amazon, what tips would you give, advice would you give them to get started?
for selling on Amazon or just reselling in general?
So let's say reselling in general, and then anything you might have specific to Amazon.
Okay, if you haven't sold, I would say like a single product, you don't have an eBay or a Mercari, I would recommend downloading the Mercari app, and then almost every person I've met has something they don't use that they could sell. So the best way to learn it would be just by doing it. I get maybe 50, 100 DMs a day, people asking me how to start selling. And the biggest thing is if you have a phone and you can message me that, you can go to Google and YouTube. And that's the main reason I learned was I was just watching videos every single day. But I would say for people, shoes, old phones, old sunglasses, hats, t-shirts, stuff like that, download Mercari, super simple. You can watch a few videos. After it sells, they'll email you a label. And one of the biggest tips I would say is just you're going to mess up. I've met a lot of people that are worried about losing money or messing up the label or the shipping. It confuses a lot of people. You're going to mess up a lot. And the faster you realize that, the faster you can grow. So that would be the best way to get into reselling is just watching a lot of videos and start off by selling something you have. And like I said, I recommend using Mercari and then getting into eBay. And then I would say, after 6 months, a year, look at Amazon because Amazon's volume is it's crazy compared to eBay and Mercari. And Amazon's a whole different game. You can't make a bunch of mistakes when you first start out on Amazon compared to eBay and Mercari. You can lose your account pretty fast. And on Amazon, you have to pay on Amazon. It's $40 a month compared to eBay and Mercari. It's both free to sell until you sell an item, and of course they take their cut.
Awesome. So, so you were talking about how Amazon is a little more regulated, a little more strict than
Yes.
than eBay and Mercari. So I guess what how do I want to phrase this? I guess what adjustments have you had to make to sell on Amazon versus doing your Mercari and eBay selling?
So Amazon, eBay and Mercari are more, you can buy one thing and then flip it. I've noticed Amazon, you can do that a lot, but it's mainly, you don't want to just be buying one thing from a Goodwill and trying to sell it on Amazon. That's perfect for the, I don't want to get truncated. I do sell used items on Amazon, but I'd say 90% of my items are new, and I'll sell 10 or 20 or even 100 of the same item per day compared to eBay. I'll have 100 different, when I was selling at eBay, I'd have 100 different things listed. Amazon, it takes pride in their reputation. eBay, it's all third party. Since Amazon sells on Amazon itself, they don't want just anyone jumping in on their selling on Amazon, if that makes sense. I don't know if I really answered your question there 100%, but
that works.
okay.
So, so I know that you talked about how, you, as a kid were flipping, sports cards. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you're still pretty into sports cards, correct?
Oh, yes. I have literally tables of cards still everywhere in my room right now. I've been very big into sports cards. I know you're really big into Pokemon, and as you both know, sports and Pokemon cards have exploded the past 8 months, past year. It's been very crazy.
So I know a lot of people, I don't know if you've been getting these messages too. I get messages now, DMs like daily on Pokemon cards. Like, how should I start? What should I be looking for? Like, so I'm not that familiar with sports cards. I have a few, but if I was wanting to getting into sports card, what advice would you give for someone wanting to hop in right now?
Oh my goodness. It depends on a lot of your goals and perspective, what you think the cards are going to do. I would say if you're doing it solely for investments, a lot of card collectors don't like using that word. You would want to look at vintage cards, pre 1970, I would say. And you would want to buy graded cards. I don't know if I have anyone by me, um, where it's slabbed and has a rating from companies that tell you the condition of it. I would definitely say you want to look at older cards compared to newer cards that they can print out as much as they want and keep selling compared to something they can't make anymore, just supply and demand kind of deal. So, and it's like you said, if you want to just get in cards, honestly, it just comes down to research and then asking people questions. There's so many good YouTube channels. And so many good YouTube videos and podcasts and Instagram pages, and people do it every single day. They do full-time cards, and there's a lot of really cool people that will answer your questions on social media if you have any. But the big thing, again, like I said with eBay, if you want to get in cards purely for the money, it's just researching before you jump in. A lot of Google, asking questions. There's no really one answer fits all, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So you've been in cards though now for like a decade,
Correct.
basically.
Yeah, actually, a little longer, about since I was 6, so 14, almost 15 years.
Okay. So right now, sports cards are like really, really hot right now. Yeah.
Correct.
How I guess because I really don't know the answer to this. Like, has the market been this hot since you've been in it, or is this the hottest it's ever been since you started?
No, it's never like I've been selling cards on eBay, like I said, since I was about 10. I've been in cards since I was like 6. It's never been this hot. Modern day basketball cards the past month have dropped maybe 30 or 40%, but they're still up 200-300% this year, which is insane. Some cards I was buying for 99 cents that I sold for $30-$40. Um, it's just cards have been crazy. I've never seen it like this again.
So what? I mean, I think you kind of answered it, but I'm going to get a little more specific.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone to help them avoid losing money? Because obviously, when the market gets hot on anything, whether it's cards, whether it's real estate, whether it's stocks, there's always that potential to lose money because people get a little too excited. So what advice would you give to someone to help them avoid making like losing their money?
You want to buy what people aren't buying, and it's the most stock market kind of answer. If there's a buyer, there's always a seller. You have to ask yourself, if someone's selling this card that's up 100%, why are they selling it now? What do they know that I don't know? Are they just cashing out? And it's crazy. Sports cards are just going based on 1 or 2 games of a player's performance. And if a card jumps because some random player scored, 20 points or had 2 touchdowns, and it goes up 100%, those are the kind of cards that I've seen for the past 4 or 5 months. It will go up for 2 days, and then a month later, everyone lost money that bought it. And again, if you're looking for purely investments and cards, I would go with vintage cards that are graded. Not only graded, there's weird cards like sticker cards, taller shaped cards that weren't produced a bunch. But to answer your question a little better, you just gotta research. I mean, I could like give out a bunch of details, but the main thing is just knowing. You have to ask yourself, why am I buying this card? Is this someone that just got lucky one game? How many of this card is made? Example, there's like this is an average base card in basketball. Prism, one of the more sought after products. And then there is same card, different version. This is the red, white, and blue. So there's less of these made, harder to find. This one, there's a bunch more. So I'll see if I have something a little better, if I've numbered. I don't think I have this with Pokemon, but this card, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up. If you can see, it says out of 13 of 49, my bad. So that means there's only 49 in the world of this card. Those would be the kind of cards you would want to get into more versus just a common base card. Because I do see the market, Panini, the main sports card company, is just making tons of new products. And this happened in the 80s. where top used value just went down because there were so many being made. So I do see that a little bit going on. So you have to just research how many are made, are they still making it kind of deal, and then the player. I mean, if the players just got lucky, like I said, for a game or two.
For sure. Yeah, definitely getting educated. Like that's honestly same with Pokemon. That's the same thing I'm telling people. Like you have to get educated, otherwise, you're going to buy something because you heard that Pikachu was getting really hot, but you bought the wrong one.
Yeah, like Hollow. I don't know a ton about Pokemon, but there's Shadowless Hollow First Edition, different kinds of Pikachus. Red cheeks or yellow cheeks or whatever. Like I've been trying to learn more about Pokemon for the past month, so definitely a whole different ball game than sports cards.
Hey, dude, if you have any questions, hit me up, man. I got you.
Definitely will, actually. If you could, I got a question. If you could buy any Pokemon card right now for like $100, what would you buy if you have any idea?
For $100. So would this be to short term or long term?
Let's just say like long term, like 10 plus years.
So I'm trying. $100. I would probably buy I don't have a specific one in mind, partially because the prices keep changing like daily.
They're crazy.
I would probably buy as many first edition non-hollow rare cards, probably from the set Neo Genesis. The reason being is that what I've noticed over the past year or so that I've been doing this, and this has kind of been my bread and butter, is that Wizards of the Coast, the company that made the first Pokemon cards in the US, except for base set, they made both hollow and non-hollow versions of rare cards.
Mm-hmm.
So I've noticed that when the hollow version of a card starts going up, the non-hollow version is not too far behind. And so I've been buying a lot of non-hollow cards because you can buy them for like $20, $30. I was buying tons for like $50 last year that are now worth $300, $400.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And so I would buy first edition non-hollow cards, probably PSA 9, PSA 10s, because they're going to go up.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, like with sports cards even. One of my favorite picks right now would be the Kobe Bryant. I think it's 1996 Topps rookie card, the white border. The prices have dropped, but compared to like MJ, the card is so undervalued. And something also with PSA, a lot of people I think don't buy PSA 9s and 8s, but they're massively cheaper than PSA 10s. And what happens when the PSA 10 card goes from 500 to 2,000? The PSA 9 will be the next best, and the PSA 8 for the new collectors and people that don't have $2,500 to buy a piece of cardboard. So
100%, 100%.
Also, it would be looking at I've made a lot of money in the past year just buying older PSA 8, PSA 9 cards when everyone else was either just trying to get the 10, and I'm like, I don't really have 400, but I can get 4 of the PSA 9 for 100, and there were 500 each, and it's almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that's another thing. Like, well, it's funny because the Holy Grail. Well, they call it the Holy Grail, but there's technically another card worth more. But the Holy Grail of Pokemon is the first edition base set PSA 10 Charizard, and that one sold recently for over $220,000. But like ever since then, the PSA 9s and the PSA 8s and even down to like the PSA 5s, like the prices have just shot up just because the 10s go up, then the 9s go up, then everything else goes up.
Yeah, just like I tell people, it's simple economics of the market. People can't afford the 10, they're going to go for the next best thing. So
exactly. That's why I'm a big fan of the non-hollow rares, just because people still want the card, but they're not going to be able to afford a $10,000 card.
Yeah, not most everyone can drop even $1,000, $2,000 on the card. I'll definitely
Exactly.
check those out.
100%. Hey, so shifting gears real quick. While I am
Yeah,
impressed with you, like, being young, having, being all business minded, and whatnot, one of the things I am equally, if not more impressed with, from, I guess, more watching you via Twitter, is how much you talk about, I, how much you talk about like kindness and, being a good person and just treating others well.
yeah.
And so I'm curious, like, why is that important to you?
It's the right to do. Um, Definitely my age and my generation, I would say, between like 13 and 25, just every day, people in general are just arrogant, mean, self-centered. They think it's cool and popular and everyone else is doing it. But kindness at the end always wins. I remember the kids that were not the nicest to me growing up, but I remember the people that treated me better 10 times more than the people that didn't treat me better. Some of my best friends. And, when I was younger, 13, 14, compared to all the people that weren't the nicest to me. But being honest and being kind and helping others, it's just simple. It always wins to me. I've connected with more people on sides that I didn't agree with politically or religion or whatever it may be, just by being kind to them instead of just shoving them aside and not being kind. Um, and again, I would say it comes from being a Christian and just doing what the Bible and what God would want you to do. If you want shun anyone, he would. If he was here right now, he would be hanging out with the sinners mainly. He would be with the people that the world, or how do I say this out? Being judgmental is a thing. Most Christians, I call it the Christian love, are not the nicest to people that aren't Christians, or they're maybe doing something, not what the Bible preaches, and they can turn a lot of people away from the exact thing they're trying to preach. So, and that goes with just anything if you're not religious. I've helped people that started on Amazon that were doing maybe $10, $30, and they were real happy with their sales. And then I see someone comment something like that's it or whatever, and that can be really discouraging. So always try to help out people because everyone starts at zero. Everyone starts at zero followers, zero sales. Um, just I don't know. It's a lot easier to be kind than it is to be mean. So
For sure. That's awesome, man. So I don't know if you've noticed, and I say that with as total sarcasm, but I don't know if you've noticed, it's a lot of people right now with the elections, especially not being the kindest. So, and you got a lot of angry comments, a lot of hate going on and whatnot. So, in your experience, though, how do you? Because I know you kind of mentioned it, but how do you think people can connect with others, even when they have completely different, whether political views, religious views on life?
how can they connect? Like in what way? Like social media? You mean if someone like leaves a
So,
comment that you don't agree
I
with?
guess how would you how can people be kind to one another? How can people connect with one another on a human basis, even if they see things completely different?
I don't know. A lot of things for me is finding similar interests and just knowing that everyone has a different view and opinion, even though I may strongly disagree with some of their opinions, that doesn't mean they're a bad person. There's a lot of people I disagree with, I work on or talk with, like people I buy stuff from business wholesalers, and I see their personal profiles and what they post. You can't let your own feelings also get involved with business. You can't get don't be a sellout, but just because someone posted something you don't like, don't turn them away. But just being kind to others you disagree with, I don't know. For me, it comes natural. Um, but I would say a lot of people have similar interests. Maybe they're on a different religious view or political view. focus on that interest and actually get to know the person, hate them because they're voting for one party or another party, like you said, with the election in 10 days or whatever it is, a week and a half. You go on Twitter, it's one side or the other side. There's like no common ground. You're either like loved or hated. So, yeah, I'm sure it's not the answer you're looking for, but it's just, I don't know, being nice.
No, I love that. Like, honestly, I wasn't looking for a particular answer, but
Okay.
I do love the answer you gave because I think we sometimes forget, like, oh, you might be a Republican, I might be a Democrat, but hey, we both love Pokemon,
Exactly.
or we both love sports cards, or we both love, playing basketball, or whatever it might be. Like, we forget, like, just because we might have a different view, that we might have more in common than we
Everyone's
realize.
still human at the end of the. Yep, everyone is still human. So.
100%. So, a few more questions, man. Then I'm going to let you go.
You're fine. No, you're fine.
So, you mentioned, well, actually, before I get into that one, I'm curious because I remember seeing a post you did, I think, like on Instagram, talking a little bit about your faith, talking about like how you were hesitant to maybe talk a little bit about that on social media. And so I'm just curious, what role has your faith played in your business?
Oh, huge role. Anytime, like I said earlier, that more focused about money and the gritty part of business, it doesn't seem to be going well for me. Even when it does go well, it has gone well before when I haven't been focused on my faith. It's something just doesn't feel right. And even if I would say you're not religious or Christian, the Bible has a lot of good principles for business. Just working diligently and tithing and giving. That's all great business aspects that I think everyone can agree on. But it's played a huge role. I think you're talking about Instagram post I made. I think it was a little bit ago, earlier this year, on my first post about. I had a few people I was pretty close with, still am. They told me I should post Bible verses. I think it was on Twitter because someone big may follow me and it may turn them away. And I said, if it turns them away, that's on them. I'm not going to turn them away if they don't agree with it, but I'm not going to not be myself. So, but it's been a huge role to answer your question. Has it been easy? Never is. I didn't have a hard life by any means compared to some people, but it wasn't the easiest growing up. So definitely focusing on my faith, a huge role to God, and hoping I'm doing the right thing, praying about it, and then just executing. So
That's awesome, man. Well, I commend you for that because I know that is an advice given to a lot of people is don't talk about your faith. Whether you're a Christian, whether you're Muslim, whether you're don't talk about that. But I think if it's part of you and you want to talk about it, then I think that's fantastic.
I'd rather people hate me for being mean than people liking me for being fake and not posting what I want. So I tell people, if you really like something or if you're passionate about something, this is not even just to do with religion. If you like Pokemon cards or your friends think you're a nerd or whatever, just go out and be yourself. There's a lot more people that are like you than you would realize. So
I 100%.
Maybe the person. It's crazy how many DMs I'll get from people saying they like Legos or sports cards, but they were afraid to post about it until they saw my post or that I inspired them to do something. So I think that's a really cool aspect of it also.
Yeah. And, it's kind of funny you mentioned, all that because I was hesitant to post, like, I'll talk about like a year ago. I was hesitant to post anything Pokemon related just because I was like, oh, that might be kind of nerdy and I don't know what people are going to think. And I started posting a little bit and whatnot. Then I'm like, man, I should have posted so much more like a year ago. Like I posted more on Pokemon the last maybe 8 months. But like I should have been posting like a year ago, like because you never know. Pokemon is freaking exploding right now. You got rappers buying Pokemon cards now. It's like you never know. Like not that I want to like look cool or anything, but you never know. Like what you might think is nerdy might actually be something that becomes super popular later, or that people are going to start asking you questions about later.
Yeah, exactly. Earlier this year, Gary Vaynerchuk, the entrepreneur that people, if you don't know about, on Twitter posted something about sports cards, and I left a comment saying, "Hey, I've been talking about vintage cards and wrestling and sticker cards," and he replied with, um, forget who he tagged, someone that works for him, and said, "Get him in the group chat." And he followed me then, and I get to talk with really cool people. He's in there once a week or whatever. Get to talk to really cool people every single day just because I posted a comment, didn't care what other people think. If I didn't start posting about sports cards and replying to people on his page, you may have never saw that, and I won't have the chance, to interact with him, which is pretty cool. So
Yeah, yeah, man. Like that's also the thing with like Pokemon. I've met so many cool people through it that I never would have met otherwise.
yeah, I meant just not even, high, up people, a lot of followers kind of deal. I met a lot of cool people that I'm like, oh, I didn't know you collected sports cards at all. Kids I used to go to school with or played basketball with kind of deal. And they see my posts and we start talking about it. And then they get interested again, or they already were, just didn't talk about it. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah. So whoever's watching this, if you love Pokemon, you love sports cards, if you love Star Wars, if you love My Little Pony, whatever it might be, just talk about it. You
It's
never
a big
know what
following
might
for those.
happen.
Exactly.
Okay. And you mentioned earlier you're kind of a nerd. So I know from
Yeah.
your comments, sounds like you're not big into Pokemon. But what is your nerdiness? I'm curious. What is it?
Oh my gosh, I'm a huge nerd. I mean, not a lot of kids at 10 years old would, be like selling stuff on eBay or even looking at like stock market financial sheets, profit loss sheets at 10, 11 years old, looking at companies, random numbers. But big nerd for, like I said, sports cards and Legos. I not only selling a lot of Legos, but I'm doing a lot just to build some cool stuff. And then Lord of the Rings, I would say, was probably the most nerdiest thing about me. Pretty big Lord of the Rings fan, so.
That's sweet. My brother, he has a replica of the what's the sword that I don't remember the sword's name, but that Aragorn gets at the end of the series, or at least in the movie at the end. I think he gets it in like the first book.
Okay.
But
I
I
can't
forget the
even
name.
think of the name. The Broken Sword is Forged.
Yeah,
He
he has a
with?
replica
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm jealous.
of that. But yeah, that's cool, man. So you mentioned you sell a lot of Legos, and you're a big Lego nerd. So I don't know if you're like me, but like, well, maybe not so much because maybe you have more volume. But do you ever sometimes like are almost a little hesitant to let go of a Lego because you're like, oh, I kind of want to keep that, or
You broke up a little bit. Did you say, like, if I have something that I bought to sell that I want to keep?
yeah, like when it's something that you like Legos, are you ever like, oh, I kind of want that for myself, but you're like, oh, I got to keep the business
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, so I do a lot in volume now compared to when I did a few years ago. So if I'm buying something, I'll buy, 100 of it, 50 of it. But if there is something I can only get a few of, I actually have my own stash of like sealed Legos I'm keeping for myself. So like if I get like 10 of something I really like, I'll put one aside for myself. So I definitely do that a lot with stuff. But Legos are a big part. But then I sell a lot of food items and stuff I don't really care about. I sell stuff that tastes terrible to me, but people love it. So definitely won't be holding on or using that.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess I just need to get more volume because sometimes, man, there are cards I want or that I have. I'm like, I kind of want to keep that one, but it's like $200. Like,
Yeah,
it has to go.
that's with me with some sports cards for sure.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, we're just going to wrap up with a few just rapid fire questions, and
Okay.
yeah, and then we'll call it a day. So, um, what makes you happy?
Awesome. That's a big question, but just being alive every day. The common question, but true, just being alive, being grateful, helping others, that makes me the happiest. So
Awesome. What's your favorite food?
Ooh, tacos probably.
Mm. Like beef tacos or like chicken tacos?
Any tacos, just tacos in general. All tacos
Fair enough.
are
Fair
great.
enough. Do you have a favorite movie?
um, hmm, Another hard question. It would be probably the Prestige, old Magic movie, older, I should say, not old.
Nice. What is your favorite sports card that you currently own?
It would be 1972 Icy Bear complete set graded PSA 8. It's
Nice.
the basketball set like the Icy Bear drink, and they made a special limited run.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually that's one of the few sets that I'm somewhat familiar with.
Okay.
Okay. Then last question: if you could invest in one sports player, so whether it's their cards, their merch, but in one sports player, alive or dead, who would you invest in?
Um, like long-term investment, I'm guessing.
Long term, yeah.
Okay, because people are on the word invest now, as in like 3 or 4 months. Kind of funny. Probably, I think Kobe Bryant cards and in general are the most underpriced right now compared to other great legends like Kareem and Michael Jordan. So it would definitely be Kobe Bryant stuff.
Awesome. Well, man, dude, thanks so much for being on the show. Honestly, it's been so fun connecting with you.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry, like I said, I know people that don't know this. I was supposed to be on the show last week and I completely forgot about it. So thank you for giving me another chance to take up some of your time having me come on and talk about a bunch of nerdy stuff.
Yeah. Well, dude, for reals, man, if you have any Pokemon questions, hit me up.
Actually, I will. So
All right, man, you take care.
thank you. You too.